Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today I am finally able to bring to you guys a video that I've been wanting to bring to you for a while. It's been hard lately. So hear me out for just a second. Watch these hands move around for just 30 more seconds while I explain to you. Recently, it's that time of the year where YouTube starts to really just kind of crap on me on my channel. Like, all my ratings, all my views, they go way down. I feel like I just fall to the bottom of the algorithm. My earnings go way down, which that does factor into a lot of this because I have a very consuming full-time job, and this is purely a passion project. So sometimes it's really hard for me to get the energy to make these videos when I know everything is all for naught, when everything just keep going down and keep going down and keep going down. So if you're watching this video, thank you for supporting the channel. And this video is going to focus on nothing technical, nothing price related, nothing size related. Today we're talking about nothing but simply the best looking knives, at least in my opinion. I went through all my knives and I just picked out 10 that I would probably say right now are my 10 favorite looking knives in my collection. Now, before anyone starts attacking me in the comments and saying, looks aren't everything, well, let me tell you guys, I'm going to say something that might not be a popular comment, but the reason we buy a knife is probably at least 80% to do with how much we like the way it looks. Because I don't care how slicey the blade is. I don't care how good it feels in hand. If it looks like a turd, you're probably not going to want to buy it. So, and I'm going to stand by that. So aesthetics are a huge part of why we buy knives, and especially the ones that we particularly like. Me in general, and you and you and you and everyone watching this, we all have our own preferences. So I'm going to start showing you guys my 10 favorite knives from an aesthetic standpoint, the best designs. But I also want you to let me know in the comments, what do you look for in a knife? What attracts you from a design standpoint? And what are some of your favorite looking knives, because I'm sure a lot of you are probably gonna have different ones than me. So with that being said, let's just get into it. And actually, there's more of these available than I thought there would be. So I'll link what I can. But again, today's not really about linking knives. It's just about taking a look at cool knives. And we will do that, starting with the best looking knife I will ever have, I think. The Koenig Arius right here. I've said it before, I wanted to get some of the more obvious ones out of the way because I think there's some down the list that will surprise some people. But this one here, the Arius, has been and always will be pure 100% perfection in my books. This is, if I had to get rid of all my knives, every single one, and just be able to keep one, the Koenig Arius would be it. Because it's perfect from an ergonomic standpoint. It has a beautiful blade. Love the swedge, the design, all the lines. The shape of the handle really pulls this together. The shape of the handle, along with that fine milling on there that is just beautiful, with the bronze backspacer and the excellent milled clip that even you can look in there and you can see the generation of it. This is a Gen 4 B4 model. Just perfection, absolute perfection. And it's even got a little bit of character because you can still see the rust spot. How close can we get here? Those little two specks right there are rust spots from my wedding night. I've told you guys this before, but on my wedding night, we used this to cut the limes for the margaritas, and we had too many margaritas, and I let this sit in lime juice all night as I gracefully passed out to go to bed. So this knife has a story, and it's still just, it's easily my favorite knife in the collection, and it always will be, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Everything about this, the lines, the perfectly flowing lines, everything about this knife to me is just beautiful and an absolutely stunning design. Koenig, no one beats Koenig, in my opinion. Not the Koenig Arius. It's one of a kind. Next up here is another one that I'm not really going in order, but I probably am showing you number 1 and number 2 right now. But we got a lot more to look at. This here is the Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. And again, I love everything about this knife. The sleek drop point lines, the perfect blade to handle ratio, that gold dark matter fat carbon insert with the perfect transition lines. Oh, it is just so good. Brian Nadeau has a way of designing a knife that is very unique to only him. He makes knives that don't look like anything else. When you see a knife designed by Brian Nadeau, you know it's a Brian Nadeau design and Sharp by Design. It's just, oh, they do such a good job. And I love this one so much. Caviso came out with their exclusives, and they added a flipper. So Caviso actually right now still has in stock the front flipper version as well as the flipper version. And there's a lot of versions available with this amazing, like mesmerizing dark matter fat carbon, the hand satin blades, and S90V. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. And I even when I got this flipper version, there was no way I'm getting rid of the front flipper version. These are two knives that will be in my collection forever, without a doubt. And if you want to pick up these are actually surprisingly, shockingly still available at Caviso, both front flipper and regular flipper versions. So I will have those linked below. But yeah, this is just absolute beauty in a blade. Just absolutely gorgeous. The Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. And now we got one that I don't know if a lot of people would expect to see this, but I love the design of this knife. This is the Protek Rocky, and this design, this model in particular, I love. So I picked this up at River's Edge Cutlery in Ohio. Went over there on a trip with my buddy Jeremy from Kaiser, and we hung out and checked the place out. First of all, RAC is one of the coolest knife shops I've ever been in the country. So if you are in the Hilliard, Ohio area, just north of Columbus, and you want to look at a ton of amazing knives, River's Edge Cutlery is one of the best I've ever been to. Probably the best, to be totally honest. I haven't been to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I've heard that's like an amusement park, but I have not been there. So as of now, River's Edge Cutlery takes the cake for me, and this Rocky is just a full handful of knife. Like, this is a knife. It's such a beautiful design by Les George, a beastly blade with a great edge. CPM D2 does get crapped on a lot by a lot of people, and I've never been a big fan of CPM D2 myself. But I was talking to a guy from Protek. I believe his name was Andy, I think. I'm not the best with names, but anyway, the heat treat they do on CPM D2, it gives it cutting performance or edge retention very similar to S30V. Like, this is a very, very good steel in terms of edge retention. It's just, it has that D2 in it that everyone seems to not like. And again, like I said, I am one of them for the most part, but I love the Rocky so much, and I love this smoky blade finish and this amazing perfect shade of like OD green with the great milling on here. I just thought it was a perfect match. So I just kind of sucked it up and was okay with the CPM D2 on this one and had to pick it up because it's just an amazing knife that looks fantastic and really feels great in the hand too. Just a nice, full, big knife design that I'm a big fan of. And of course, it kicks like a mule. The Protek Rocky is pretty readily available everywhere as well. So there'll be some links for that. But yeah, the Rocky is pretty much, yeah, I would say the Rocky is easily my favorite automatic Protek design. I still love the Mordax more, but I really, really do love a good Rocky. It's really hard to beat. Next up here, we've got this guy. This is the GiantMouse Ace Biblio XL. Very important to note XL here. And this is one, I love everything about this knife. Obviously, the ergos, and I've said earlier, could very well be the knife of the year for me. But I just love the design lines too. Jesper Voxness does such a fantastic job on designing, as well as Jens Anso. This is just, again, perfection, and in a little more different way, a little more bubbly way. You kind of have a little bit of a bubbly, curvy handle and a curvy sheep's foot blade, but it just comes together amazingly well. The wire pocket clip, yeah, it even looks good on this. Though even the wire pocket clip looks good. So it really is just a winner. That full finger choil, oh man. Great knife to carry in the hand, in the pocket, however you want to carry it. And look at it. You can just look at this thing forever. It's gorgeous. The middle finger flick is fantastic. This really is, I think, if I had to pick one GiantMouse knife, this is it. I love this knife. I love the Biblio, but the XL just, in my opinion, the XL destroys the regular size Biblio. Unless you like the smaller blades, but yeah, there's just no comparison there for me. The Biblio XL is easily one of my favorite knives of all time and one of my favorite looking knives of all time. Very, very good. This is another one that I feel like it gets kind of lost in the shuffle of Wii knives, but the Wii Beacon. You know, this is a very simple, clean design, but it just comes together so, so well. Very sleek, very stealthy, maybe a little bit of almost gentlemanly almost. It's just a really, really nice design. I love how the fuller kind of just disappears towards the front of the blade. Really, really nice. Simple, flat handle, but feels great in the hand. You got a choil up there that works great. A nice flat milled clip. This is the Wii aftermarket clip that I use, their Civivi aftermarket clip. Those are even good on a lot of Wii models, so it worked out really good here. And yeah, it just looks really, really good. And of course, you know, it has that Wii action, has everything you would look for in a high-end knife. And man, oh man, it's very simple. It's very clean. You know, this is nothing like a Koenig Arius or, you know, or even a Protek Rocky. It's very, very clean and simple, but it just really does it for me. I think a lot of it has to do with the overall size of it. But it just, yeah, it's just a very, very simple yet perfected design. And speaking of the Protech Mordax, I really do love the way the Protech Mordax looks. Like it is just a big belly blade that fits great in the hand. And again, it kind of has that, it's definitely like you get all the Fair and Forge vibes in it, but it kind of has a little, the handle has kind of like that bit of a goth look to me almost. Like it's just very, I don't know. It's hard to even describe, kind of like maybe a Batman's knife. I don't know. That might sound really stupid, but it just comes together really well. It's a design that really works. The choil is the perfect size for my index finger. And man, oh man, I love this blade. It's a very simple design, but again, it all comes together. Nothing on the design looks like it's out of place. And that's really what I look for. Like when you guys probably know, I'm a big supporter of the arts. Like I love photography. I love painting. I love drawing. I love any type of self-expression. And that's what a knife design is. Like a knife design is art. You are creating something and you're drawing something and you're making something that someone's going to use potentially every day. So to make something that looks this good, yet this simple, and also rather different. I mean, show me another knife that looks like a Protech Mordax. Like, as basic as it is, there's not much out there that you look at and you're like, oh, that looks like a Protech Mordax. Unless maybe you may be able to find another Fair and Forge design, but again, that falls within the category of like design language and, you know, things looking similar, which that's kind of expected when the same person's designing it. But yeah, this is really, really good. The Mordax is still a pretty hard knife to find, and for good reason. It's one of the best button locks out there, American made, and just more good, hearty perfection. Here we got an oldie but a goodie. This one here, this is the ZT0640. This will always be one of my favorite looking knives. This is still the adventure knife of all adventure knives for me. I love this knife, especially what I've done to it. So I've actually, you know, I've done some upgrades to this, or at least I consider them upgrades. I got some scales from Sharp Dress Knives, put those on there, this canvas micarta, and then I put a lynch clip on the back there. And again, this is a forever knife for me. This is one that I'll probably be taking on a trip with me this year because it needs to get back into the wilderness, needs to get on some hiking trails. But another thing I want to do to this is add some jimping up here. This really, ZT, well, I will say too, when ZT came out with this, like front flippers weren't quite the rage they are now, but you put some jimping up, you can still front flip it right now. Whoop, when you don't hit the board. You can front flip it pretty easy, but some jimping on this would be, it would be a phenomenal front flipper with just enough jimping up there to just get that, to get it. Can you do the reach around? Hold on. Nope, can't do the reach around. If it had jimping, you could do a reach around, but even without jimping, pretty easy to do the front flip. So very fun, fidgety knife. I love the thumb disc on this. I think the thumb disc on this model works phenomenally well. Don't be scared by thumb discs on this knife. There's some knives that have thumb discs I'm not a fan of. This one, Very, very easy to kick that blade out. And it is just, again, stealthy, sleek, looks kind of tactical. Love this design. The ZT0640, an Emerson collaboration with ZT Knives. And it is still one of my favorite knives of all time. A lot of it has to do with that amazing design coming from Mr. Emerson. This one here would probably surprise some people too. This is the Vosteed Thorton. And yes, this knife is kind of out there. Like, it looks, I don't know, it kind of looks like anime-ish almost, I guess would be a good way to put it. But I tell you what, from an ergonomic standpoint, it's on point. But from a design standpoint, everything works well. Like, you got the straight lines going into straight lines. The Tonto blade is done so well. And these satin flats with the stonewash grinds look, oh, that's like the chef's kiss on this knife. Love these satin flats with the stonewash grind. I also like the handles here. You just have those 3 simple lines that kind of give it, again, kind of gives it that tactical, stealthy vibe. The only thing that I think would make this knife look better would be a milled clip, not a bent over clip. I'd love to see some type of like little more straight, flat, low profile milled clip. I think that would fit the knife better. But the design itself is still just incredibly well done. Like, I still love the Thunderbird. So when it first came out, the bigger version, oh, there is a bigger version. I have it like right here somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, so this is the full-size version of it. And I honestly don't know what is and isn't available in terms of this. I'll take a look, and if it's available, I'll link it, of course. But yeah, as you can see, it's a little shorter than the full-size Thunderbird. And I prefer this size over the full size. I still love the full size. Like, I have no issue with the full size at all. Still a phenomenal knife. But I really, really like this all-tie version with, I believe, the M390 or LMAX. Yeah, LMAX steel. Yeah, very, very nice. Fidget Beast. Great design. I love the looks of it, the Vosteed Thunderbird. And we only got 2 more. Going to be kind of a quicker list. This one here, the Wee Snacks Mini Buster. This is, in my opinion, as close as you can get to a production knife without buying a production knife. I love this thing. It's everything about it has more of a custom feel. And the last knife, we're going to close out with a custom knife for the last knife here in the video, but this is just everything about it. The back spacer has an excellent finish to it. It's even got some little bit of a kind of like holes back there in the back spacer. But it's just perfected. And I know Snacks, like, if you a custom version of this, I believe some of them sell for like $7,500, like maybe up to $10,000. I know Snacks' customs go just through the roof. So the fact that you can even get something this good from Wee Knives for like $273, $289, I think is what these things are coming in around, is amazing. And they are available. Excellent blade, really, really nice Wharncliffe blade there, or sheep's foot. I would consider it a Wharncliffe, but you guys tell me, Wharncliffe or sheep's foot, but I would consider it a Wharncliffe. Love how this handle feels. The clip is great, and again, it's just a completely solid. The details on this knife are through the roof, and again, back to the design, it is just a very kind of like new type of what's the word I'm looking for? New age, very kind of like a very, just an incredible design, I guess. I'm not going to get lost in my words anymore, but really, really incredible design from Snextan, and man, oh man, I hope Wee keeps making this knife, because I feel like it still sells really well, and it should, because it is just so different and so out there. And really, for the quality that you get in this, the action, for the high 200s, this is an incredible, incredible knife, and one that, again, I've never even considered selling this knife. It's that good. And I have a ton of freaking knives, but yeah, this one just is never leaving, because it is that good. And last up here, I was looking at these knives and I thought, something's missing. Something's missing in this list. And then I realized, I don't have a Ray Laconico design in this list so far. And Ray Laconico is probably my favorite knife designer, so I had to throw in this guy. This is the Laconico Custom Revel, and it's the only custom I own, and very well could be the only custom I'll ever buy. I don't know. Custom knives are something that I think are amazing. They're just so, this was a $600 knife, and that's a lot of money for me and for just about everybody else out there. So not something you buy a lot, but I had, doing what I do and loving knives as much as I love knives, I was like, I have to own a custom. I have to at least buy a custom once to say I did, have the experience. And so I went with Ray, and I reached out to him, and he had one of these available, and man, oh man, it's just so damn good. And the design on this is really, the design is ultimately why I went with this, because I love this blade. It's got a really nice tip for penetration. It has a razor thin grind there. I mean, we're talking like 13 thousandths behind the edge, maybe 12 thousandths, ridiculously paper thin, incredible slicer. It is a hollow grind. Again, you got the satin flat with the stonewash grinds. You have an amazing, fully contoured titanium handle that feels great in the pocket, and a pocket clip that works. Sometimes the pocket clips on customs aren't always the extravagant milled clips that you see on production knives, because there's a lot of money and time that goes into just making a knife. So sometimes they'll put a little more basic clip on there to keep the cost down, and I'm fine with that because I love this knife so much. It looks amazing. And heads up, Artisan Cutlery has a production version of this coming out, and a little birdie told me one is on my way. So I will definitely be doing a comparison video between the custom and the production version coming out. So stay tuned for that. I cannot wait to bring you guys that. I'm super, super stoked to see that production version. But that's it, guys. That is the 10 best looking knives I have in my collection, at least in my opinion. You guys let me know, what do you think? What did you like the most? What do you like the most? What is your best looking knife? Throw it in the comments. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.